Hey, welcome back to the channel. Now, this is section 2 of the After Effects fundamentals, and we're going to talk about the menu bar. We just finished actually talking about what the toolbar is. Now, we're going to explore what the menu bar and everything to do with it. So, without any further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. We're going to talk about what a composition is. So, to open up a new composition, there are two ways, or there are literally lots of ways. Either you can click a shortcut which is Ctrl-N and literally have the composition literally open up, or you can literally go to one of the tools in the the file menu, and not in the file menu, in the composition, and then you can literally just click on it and it will actually open up a new composition. Or lastly, which I actually prefer, is coming to the interface itself and then pressing just clicking on it, and then literally brings up composition settings and all kind of stuff. So those are the three main ways to literally open up a new composition. So anyway, we're going to start with a name. So apparently the name, I don't know which name what name should I give it? Should I give to this first composition, right? Anyway, let me just give it probably first tutorial. Let me just call it first composition. I mean, it's literally what I can remember apparently. So apparently we just give it a name. I mean, just give it any random name, or literally depending on the project that you're using. So apparently when we come to this one, I'm just going to keep it literally default. Not default, that's not what I want. I'm just going to give it something like BBC. Now these are literally different kind of, I'll talk about this in a bit, but let me just literally tell you about them. Apparently, now most of these literally are different resolutions that most of the editors used to use. Now they're literally set as presets, but they used to use them when they're setting when they were saving different footages for different TV stations. So different TV stations normally used either DVC or all kind of stuff. As you can see, all these Cinecom, Film 2K, HD TV, and all kind of stuff. They used to be like resolutions accepted by TV stations when they were doing like TV adverts and TV ads for them. So I'm just going to go with the HD 1920 by 1080. So it's because that's like the width and height that I'm actually using. So I've blocked aspect ratio so that whenever I'm literally changing anything like this, I actually normally use the custom one. So I'm just going to keep it 1920 by 1080. Literally that's it. Here, just keep it square pixels. I'll talk about the reason as why we're keeping it square pixels, but just keep it square pixels, right? So here we're going to keep the frame rate. We should talk about frame rates in the separate tutorial about for you to know about what it is. But for the smoothest and kind of realistic kind of animations, we're going to keep it at 29.97 or 30 frames per second. If you actually put it at 60 frames or 120 frames per second, it'll actually be super smooth, but it will not be compatible with most of the stuff. I mean, if you want, I think just keep it at 30 frames per second. I'll explain most of those stuff, in that some sort of a separate tutorial. Or you can literally keep it 25 frames per second or 24 frames per second, which are literally something relatable with the human eye, right? So I'm just going to keep it 30 frames per second. So apparently the resolution, I'm going to keep it full, but I'll talk about the reason as to why you have to change it to either third quarter or in the preceding kind of tutorials. So the duration, I'm going to keep it 30 seconds. So this is where I actually change the duration. I can change it to 15. Let me just put it 15 at 15. And the background, I'm just going to keep it kind of dark. I think dark is okay. Or you can actually change it to white. Let me just make it white for the sake of the tutorial. Anyway, apparently I've opened up a composition. As you can see, the menu bar is literally laid straight out, and we're going to go through these very fast. Now we're going to explore all of them apparently, except some of them which are literally in this kind of section, because it has to do with rotor brushing, and rotor brushing is literally a separate tutorial. I mean, I can't talk about rotor brushing right now. I'm also saying that actually new to After Effects and all kind of stuff, you may not want to hear about rotor brushing apparently. So anyway, we're going to start with what? We're going to start with this. As I showed you guys in the first tutorial, this is literally, you're not going to be using it like most of the times. It's about creating a new project, opening a project, and that kind of stuff. Or literally check through those ones. So literally that's all to do with that. And the next one is to do with the selection tool. So let me create some sort of a shape. That orange field is actually good. I'm just going to center it around using my align tool. Align tool is existed in all other software. So if you've used Word or Photoshop and all kind of stuff, you know what the align tool actually is. So yeah, anyway, selection tool is great for clicking and dragging stuff around, like elements around whatever kind of element that I have in the document. Let me just create some other element, like a circle. I can literally move it around or drag it, whatever kind of the thing I want, using the selection tool. So that's what it actually does. So the next one is actually the hand tool. And the shortcut selection tool is actually V. The shortcut to the hand tool is actually H, right? So I can literally move the entire composition around, using that. I'm going to show you some sort of a shortcuts to do with that. I mean, you won't be pressing H and all that kind of stuff. So zoom tool, you can actually use it to zoom the composition around, or when you press actually Alt, you can actually, zoom it actually in the negative kind of stuff. But for these three ones, I think all you want actually to be using the shortcut is actually V. What happens is that when you press space, right, when you just click on space, it literally enables the hand tool, as you can see, and then you can literally move the composition around. If you have a mouse like I'm having, like this kind of a mouse, this is not what I'm using. As you can see, I'm moving stuff around without a mouse. This one doesn't have battery, so that's why I'm not using it. Anyway, yeah, where were we? We're actually on the hand tool. So yeah, when you press like using the hand tool, you can move stuff around. So if you're using a mouse, you can actually use the scroll kind of a stuff to zoom in stuff and then zoom them out, right? So I think that's a bit handy. Or you can actually use the UI sort of a thing in here, like the user interface up here, and you can literally keep it on fit to 100% and other kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's literally all to do with that. So the next one, yeah, we're talking about the zoom. So next one we have the rotation. So if I want to rotate, I think that's why we're having the square, because you can't see when I'm rotating the circle. Anyway, apparently, as you can see, we can rotate stuff around using the rotation tool. That's all it literally does, just rotating elements. Now, as you can see, as you could have guessed, as you could have seen actually, it rotates around where this anchor point, we call it the anchor point is. So it's rotating from there, and it's actually the next tool right here. If I change the anchor point, now what's the anchor point? Anchor point is literally a place on an object where all the transformations literally happen, or where the all transformations literally take place. So as you can see, when I go back to my rotation, it actually rotates from there. If I literally scale this up and down, it's going to scale from that particular place. Like all the transformations are literally happening from there. What else? Scaling, position, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah. So I think the scaling and rotation can literally give us, what literally happens. But yeah, that's literally it. By the way, the shortcut to the rotation tool is actually R, as you could have guessed. R for rotation, and then S for the scale. I can literally scale it down or up. So that's literally to do with the anchor point, and we shall explore, the handy, stuff to do with it and all that kind of stuff. So that's all to do with the anchor point. So apparently I'm just going to put it back to the center. The next one is literally a shape tool. As you can see, it has some sort of it's literally shapes, but it has some sort of like a drop down here, like showing that we have more shapes apparent with it, right? So if I click on it, let me just click on it. If I click on it, apparently it's the circle which is enabled, right? So let me first click away a bit to disable this shape. So apparently, as you can see, it's a circle which is enabled, so we can create some sort of a circle. Apparently I'm pressing shift to create a perfect circle. If you don't press shift, it's going to create some sort of a weird sort of a circle, so you must make sure you press shift. So anyway, when I click on Alt, I can just enable another shape. If I click on Alt, I can just enable the star. If I click on Alt, it's a square. Still, I'm pressing shift to create a perfect circle, rounded, shape and all that kind of stuff. So that's how you literally create shapes in After Effects using that particular kind of a tool. Yeah, I'm going to delete those because they're making my composition a bit dirty. Anyway, the next one we're having is literally the hand tool. Pen tool, not hand tool, pen tool. And we can use it to create custom objects. If we click on an object, let me just click on this particular object and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I click on the pen tool. apparently I can create some sort of what we call a mask. So I can just tap and enable a mask here, and as you can see, I've created a mask, right? Apparently the mask is in add, but I can literally change it to something like subtract, and then it's going to just enable the other one. So it's here for creating mask, and we're going to explore quite a lot to do with it, right? The next one is actually the text tool. So I can type my stuff. I mean, I'm very fast at typing. Faster than you, of course. This is literally for creating text and other kind of stuff. So you can literally come here. We have to do with the text, and then change the font to whatever kind of font that you want. I love ribbons. I love ribbons all the way. So you can change the font, you can change the color of the font and other kind of stuff. I think we should explore that a bit later. So, and then the next ones, these ones are literally to do with rotor brushing. So we should explore what rotor brushing is. I think the last one I'm just going to show us is is literally the puppet pin tool. And with the puppet pin tool, you can actually create some sort of puppet pins, which help us to create some sort of custom deformation. So once I click on it, I can, create pins, and this literally turn a shape into some sort of a mesh, which we can actually, deform as we want. So we shall be exploring, different ways of using the puppet tool. So that's what it actually does. So my friend, okay, did I tell you guys about the fill and other kind of stuff? I wanted to close the tutorial, but I think I didn't tell you about the fill. Let me just delete this mask. I don't want it. So here you can actually change the fill. If at all the shape layer is enabled, just like it is, like any layer is enabled, you can actually change the fill. Apparently I can change it to a red, which red I don't like. I think, yeah. You can actually create some sort of a stock around the object, right? And then change its color right here to anything that you want. You can increase the pixels, and then, yeah. Apparently these are for animations. So we also have them right here. So we should talk about them like differently. We have the same art here. It's actually existent here in After Effects 2023. So this one is usually tactical properties, stuff here. It's also existent like down here. So yeah, so that, my friend, is all about to do with a toolbar in After Effects. So the next tutorial we're going to be exploring the last one to do with speaking. I want us, to explore lots of stuff to do with the hands-on, tutorials, having stuff move around, talking about keyframes and all kind of stuff. So we're going to explore that in the next coming tutorials. And that, my friends, is all to do with the toolbar. See you guys in the next tutorial, where we shall be talking about the composition and then the timeline. And after that, we're going to dive right into animations. So see you guys in the next tutorial.